Well, hey, Bethany Church, this is obviously Matt Hedrick, your pastor, and I am choosing to do a little bit of a different blog today and choosing to do a video blog. And I'm not quite sure if my hosting company for my website is going to be able to handle the incredible amount of traffic that I'm sure that this is going to generate from all of you who are just dying to see me during the week, because Sunday's clearly not enough. But anyway, wanted to take a few minutes and talk a little bit further about our sermon series that we've been on for the last couple weeks here, talking about living our lives on target. And as those of you who've been following my blog, or those of you who are there with me Sunday, are familiar, we're really seeking to live our lives with a greater level of intentionality and purpose in the choices that we make. Really, the big idea behind this series is that all of us, whether it's 6 months or a year or even 5 years from now, we're all going to be somewhere. But the question is, where are we going to be? Are we going to be just somewhere? Or are we going to be somewhere on purpose? And it's the choices that we make now and the decisions that we make day in and day out that are going to determine where we're going to end up, where we're going to be. And so on Sunday, I talked a little bit about our relationship with the Lord and our spiritual walk, and choosing to live our lives with a greater level of intentionality in that area. And essentially what I really wanted to challenge you and encourage you to do is to really begin to ask the Lord for a greater vision of what your relationship with Him could look like. To gain vision for where you're at currently, where you're at here in a sense, but also where you could be, what's the there. And then out of gaining that vision for where you would like to be, to know what kind of lifestyle changes are going to be necessary to move you from here to there. Because it just doesn't happen, unfortunately. It just doesn't happen on accident. And so really, in a sense, what I wanted to do today with this video blog is to answer a couple of questions that have come up since Sunday. Some of you have asked me personally about a couple of different issues related to this subject of beginning to live our lives with a greater level of intentionality in our spiritual walk. First of all, again, just really I want to encourage you to take this step that I talked about Sunday, of choosing to really set in place in your schedule how you're going to spend your time. What are going to be the priorities that are going to govern your life and the decisions that you're going to be making, so you don't just live your life by default, however you feel, whatever particular appetite you have for that day, but that you actually begin to look at your schedule and you determine at the beginning of the week how you're going to spend your time. I mean, the time that you have free, the time that's outside of commitments that you cannot change, the decisions that you're going to make with how you're going to spend your first hours of the day, or perhaps your last hours of the day. I really want to encourage you, whether it's just on an Excel spreadsheet or an Outlook or on Google Calendar, whatever it might be, to take the step of beginning to look at your calendar, beginning to think about what are the things that are going to really help me in my pursuit of the Lord, but also what are the things that are going to hinder me in my pursuit of the Lord. And choosing to put intentionally in your calendar those things that are going to help, and choosing to take out of your schedule those things that are going to get in the way. And with that simple step of intentionality, yeah, you might miss it, but I'll tell you, even just for me, in the last few weeks seeking to live with a greater level of intentionality, I'm coming so much closer to that ideal that I put before the Lord than I ever would if I didn't actually take the step of choosing to put it down on paper before me. So I really want to encourage you to take that step. But let me address a couple of specific questions. Number one, the question has come up, does this then mean that we're never going to have any kind of fun in our lives, that we have to cut out all kinds of entertainment and hobbies and sports and those kinds of things? Let me tell you, that is not the case. That's not what I'm arguing for. But you see, what happens when you begin to get intentional with your schedule is you look at your time and you look at what you are giving, the same way you would if you're budgeting your money, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. How much of your time are you budgeting towards entertainment or towards that hobby or towards sports? And you have to look at that in light of the greater priorities you have and say, you know what, I need to ensure that I'm giving an appropriate percentage of my time to this particular hobby or this form of entertainment. Now, in my calendar, if you had the opportunity to look at it, you would see that I've got in my calendar, I've got a couple times. One is Sunday afternoon and the other is Tuesday night, where I have the ability in my schedule, I've given myself time to spend time in front of the television or to watch a movie. Again, Sunday afternoon, no coincidence, seeing as how Favre just signed with the Vikings. However, my point is that I really want to encourage you not necessarily to eliminate those things, but to choose and to say, what is it in my schedule that would be an appropriate level for me to give myself to that particular area of entertainment. You know, it's a powerful thing. For me, just even Sunday, sitting at home, sitting in front of the television, I can do that and enjoy it actually, because I know that I have set boundaries on how much of my time is going to go to entertainment. It's a liberating thing actually. It's liberating when we choose to determine from the outside and then live within those boundaries. Let me address the second question that came up, and this question is one that addresses the issue that many of you probably are facing, and it's related to the subject of unique seasons of our lives. So some of you, maybe you're young moms or moms of young kids, or perhaps you've got a number of young kids in the house, and your schedule is just such that it's very, very difficult for you to see how you can give a lot of time to spending with the Lord. Or perhaps you're in a situation in your family right now and you're a guy and you're having to work several jobs and your time is really, really limited. Well, you know, when there are those circumstances that come into our lives, I really believe that the Lord understands those things and that He will give us grace in those seasons. And that sometimes, even in the midst of those seasons when we're really busy, when we have the opportunity to get away with the Lord, sometimes it can be the most rich of times. You encounter Him quickly, our roots go deeply with Him quickly, and His grace is there. But what I also want to encourage you in that is, if you are in a unique season and your relationship with the Lord is not faring very well, not to allow that season to be an excuse for not making some of these changes that I'm talking about. You see, because I believe even in those unique seasons, there are still choices that we can make that can help us in that season to really find time to spend with the Lord. It might mean that you need to humble yourself and ask for some help. It might mean you have to go perhaps to your husband or to a friend and say, you know what, I'm just not getting the time that I need with the Lord. Can you help me out? You go to your husband and say, you know what, honey, I need one night a week to be out of the house and to be with the Lord. And you know what? Your husband, he needs to listen to you and step up, perhaps in an unusual way in this season, and give you the space in order to be able to spend the time that you need to with the Lord. So don't allow that to be an excuse from making some of those more radical decisions, in a sense, that I talked about with your time, just because it is a unique season. So anyway, I hope that some of those things are an encouragement for you, and that you're just continuing to dig in and press on with the Lord. If you have questions, I would really encourage you, maybe send me a quick email at matt.hedrick@bethanystc, as in twincities.org, and I'd be happy to do what I can to perhaps respond to some of those questions via blog, whether it's a video blog or just one of those normal written ones. But God bless you. Keep pressing in the Lord, and we'll see you this Sunday as we look at living with greater intentionality in the area of our relationships. So God bless you. Have a good day.